This is the Tech Educator 101 channel. Today we'll be talking about the sixth and final video in the Classwize series. It's going to be the rules. This is really, I think, the most powerful part of the whole program or the whole platform. Once you're inside of a class and it's running, you'll see the rules over here on the top right. If you click on that, you can see create your first rule. Once you create a rule, it will stay there until you remove it or change it. So from day to day, as you're going through, they'll always be there unless you remove them. So if I click on create rule, you'll see that there is a place where you can type in the rule or the site to talk a little bit about signatures and categories. So if I type in YouTube, you'll see that it brings up a YouTube right here. This is actually a signature, which means it's not just youtube.com. It's all of the sites, all of the websites in the background that make youtube.com work. You can do youtube.com and just block the website youtube.com, but it may or may not work because there's a lot of other domains, a lot of other servers that are running in the background to make that work. And so if you want to block YouTube or whatever site it is you're doing that you're trying to allow or block, first see if there's a signature. Most stuff out there has a signature. If the site you're putting in doesn't have a signature, you can do the .com or .org, whatever the website is. But typically you're going to want to do the signatures. So if I click on that, I'm going to click on YouTube, blocked or allowed. By default, it's blocked. You can switch it to allowed if you're trying to allow something. And then you can apply it to the whole class by default, or you can apply it to specific students in your class. So if YouTube is allowed by default for you, but you have one student that just is a problem student and he needs to take a break from YouTube, you can come in here and block it for that specific student. I'll go ahead and hit add rule. You can see that your rules live right here. You can switch it from blocked to allowed right here. You can go back in and edit it. So if you want to change it from the specific student to the whole class, or you can hit the delete. But what that does is over on the Chromebook, you'll see that I had YouTube open, and then when I blocked YouTube for this specific student, it closed that tab, and it says your teacher has closed this tab. And if I try to go to YouTube manually again, it's going to come up and say that it's blocked. And again, this is just applying for that student. Up at the top, you can delete all of your rules, or you can go ahead and create a new rule. Now, if you're on a Windows machine, there are some specific things that it will also allow you to block as far as programs on the computer. I'm going to come over here to their list. I would imagine this will change periodically as they add other programs. If these programs are installed on the computer, it will allow you to block them. And you can see there's quite a list here. All the Microsoft Office, Notepad, Skype, Spotify, weather, all these Windows Terminal. So if these things are not already blocked on your machine, or if the student brings in a portable USB, if your USBs aren't blocked, you'll be able to block these from opening. You could even block specific browsers. If a student tries to install Blizzard or Epic Games or something like that, it would also block that and keep that from running. And I'm going to apply that to the whole class just so you can see an example of what multiple roles looks like. And you can make this, there is a limit, I don't remember what it is, but you can just add or remove sites as you need them. If you come across a game site that should probably be blocked for everybody, you can, whatever your district process is for that, you can submit that to the IT department to make sure that that site is blocked for everybody. Or if you come across a good educational site, you might submit that to them as well to have that unblocked for specific age groups. Now, the difference, when we come in here, there's a difference between what you can and cannot unblock or block. There are things called locked rules. Typically, districts will use the SIPA compliant stuff for that. So adult content, hate speech, all kind of the bad stuff we want to protect our kids from, those would be locked and blocked. So you would not be able to allow those for that student. But anything that's not a locked rule, you should be able to control on the allowed or blocked. If you put in a rule that isn't applying, it might be because that it's a locked rule, and you'd have to go through your district process to see why that's a locked rule and if that can be changed so that it's unlocked so that you can control that. So that is kind of the power of the rules. Again, as you start and stop the class from day to day, these rules will continue to apply. They're not going to remove every day. You do just want to make sure that you're not blocking something like google.com, because that's going to pretty much brick the Chromebooks so that they can't do a lot of stuff. They're not going to be able to check in or do anything, browse or anything. So you want to be careful what you do block, but you do get a lot of power and flexibility as teachers for what your students are able to access or not, because you can control when and where they get access to that. So this is the end of the Classwize series. I hope you found it enjoyable and instructive. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button. And if you want to see more of my content, please click subscribe. Have a great day.